Hello everybody, my name is Ben. Today I'm going to be going over my entry for TJ the Brickwrights Mynock 5 LEGO Star Wars competition. If you're watching this video, you probably came from his channel, so I don't feel the need to explain the contest itself, but I'm just going to get right into the build, because that's what you're here for. So this ship itself is meant to be a modified version of another ship, originally actually from Legends. Now the base ship from this was called the Flashfire. It's only ever appeared once in an expansion pack for Star Wars The Old Republic, a RPG that is very good, and I would play it if you haven't. The Flashfire is a single personnel starfighter that is designed to have an overbearing weapon system. As you can see, it's got quite the array of weapons here. I'll get to those shortly, but for now I'm going to start with this. The ship is actually quite large for a starfighter. I'm actually quite surprised with how big the thing turned out. Like it's pretty hefty. I'm using the cockpit piece from the Inquisitor Scythe transport because its colour scheme matched really well, and it's just all around really good looking. It was the best thing I had to match the actual windscreen look of the original Flashfire. Its appearance reminds me quite a bit of a snowspeeder, with the angled wings that meet to a point, but they kind of don't. They're kind of snubbed off a little bit, so they're flat here, but this bit protrudes out from the centre. And I tried to keep that all red, to keep originally it was going to be a whole stripe down the middle, but that didn't end up working out. So I've opted to leave it here and have it fade nicely into the black there. I think I'm going to start at the back and then work my way to the front, and then there's one little feature at the end that is my favourite, and I'm saving that for last. Swinging around a little further, we've got our two main engines here. These protrude from the wings and can join between the wing and the main body. They're two long cylindrical shapes that meet here at an intersection, I guess is what you might call it, and then caps off with a engine there. It's mirrored on both sides. It's a symmetrical ship. I do like asymmetry, but that's kind of hard to get across with smaller ships like starfighters. It's a lot easier to get across with bigger things like a YT-1300 freighter like the Millennium Falcon, which has a cockpit on one side, as you know. Go a little further across. This is a flush top here. I wanted it to be a bit flat. This part specifically that I'm touching now, that is a storage compartment, storing something particular we'll get to in a minute. Before then though, I'm going to go through the wings here. Now the wings, I tried to keep them as thin as I possibly could, just to make it more like accurate. If we take a look, they're 2 plates thick, so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out actually. These bits here get a bit thicker as they do on the actual ship, and I'll swing this around. It's the same on the other side. Something I actually am very proud of is how I connected the wings to the main body. You can see it's connected by only 2 points there. That's the perk of keeping the wings 2 plates thick, was having them light enough to actually be held on by 2 hinges only. And then at the back here, I've got a clip connection to the middle engine. That was not meant to happen. So here's our wing. You got the main engine here protruding out of it. You can see how thin it is. I'm pretty happy with that. But on the model here, we've actually got quite a... It's pretty hard to show off actually. This here, down here, is to keep the wings at a specific angle so they don't drop any further. It's mirrored on the other side. This we'll get to later as well. So the way I've made the hinge connection to the wings flush is with these little assemblies that I've basically just mirrored it and then made a longer one here and then a smaller one here. And that is almost, I'll show you on the other side. That is almost as good as it can get, I reckon. Like that is see the flush, how flush it is there. I'm pretty proud of how that turned out. I imagine these 2 cannons on the sides as ion cannons for disabling ships and turrets and other things that a starfighter would need to be able to do. If I put this back on real quick. As I said, it's mirrored on both sides, so I only have to go through one wing specifically to cover both of them. At the front here, we've got 2 pipes feeding into a central quad cannon array. This is where the Flashfire gets its name. These 2 pipes feed into the main body of the ship, and then into the inner workings and yada yada yada. Alright, now we'll get to the cockpit, which is attached at the top here. There's our cockpit and interior. Pretty cramped because of just the way that I actually built it. The base is 4 studs wide, as you can see here, and then at the top becomes 6 studs wide, and that was actually pretty hard to accomplish, but I'm quite happy with the ways it's turned out. Here's my hypothetical pilot. I've named him Sarl. No reason in particular. I just think he looks pretty cool. He's got his orange jumpsuit rolled down to his waist for whatever reason. I just think that's an interesting look. It is a little bit cramped in the interior, but it does the job. Seating 1 minifigure as required. And then allowing us to put the windshield on top, which connects at the top there, and it sits nice and flush with the side there. Right, and I think that's everything out of the way. Now we can get to my favourite part. A weapon system this robust is going to require a lot of power, especially with these 2 ion cannons. They're going to need quite a lot of energy to actually run. Now, what I've actually done for a solution to that problem, just behind the main seat here, I've incorporated a small storage compartment. So this would come off. So with this, then out comes your gong droid. You can swing the ship around, and on the underside is a little hose for this connects to your gong droid. Here we go. And there we go. Now your gonk droid is providing power to your weapon systems. Fitting a gonk droid into the ship was actually quite difficult. I had to basically move this whole segment here back 1 brick so I could actually get that to work. And I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out. Then reassembling it is as simple as 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty much everything with my Flashfire. If I were to point out my favourite part of the entire model, it would be right here. Get the camera closer to that. That there. I think that turned out really, really well. Looks like it's feeding into the actual ship. Quite pleased with how that's turned out. I did have to order these large round pieces here, 4 of them, off Bricklink. So that's going to be everything for today. Thank you for clicking on the video. Thank you for taking a look and having a watch. And if you think this was pretty neat, I'd love to know down in the comments. And yeah, may the best entry win. Hey buddy, you helping me edit the video? I need that.